Hello everyone, welcome to this live Kickstarter stream. My name is Lucas from Angry Fred Comics, and I'm here today to talk about my latest Kickstarter campaign, the Gary Gorilla issue 1 that's I'm currently funding on Kickstarter. So that's not all we're talking about, obviously. I've got a very special guest that I'm bringing on today onto the show. He's been a longtime friend. He's a hip-hop artist, and he's created a theme song for Gary Gorilla. But before I get to that, I just wanted to give a bit of a rundown about the show today. So today we're going to be talking obviously about the song that good friend and hip hop artist Big Sexy has created. We're also going to be talking about the Kickstarter, the Gary Gorilla Kickstarter. We're going to go run through that, show a few things, and maybe entice a few of the people who are watching to get on board. And outside of that, we're going to talk about our creative endeavors, because both myself and Big Sexy are very creative souls, so we want to delve into what we're doing there. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to Big Sexy. Hello,
hey,
sir. How you going?
Yeah, not too bad, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
It's good. Totally.
So
It's great to be here.
I'm glad you're here. We go back quite a long time, you and me.
Yeah, we sure do.
There was a few years there where I don't think we connected that much for a very long time, and we've kind of come full circle. But before I get to that, I'd like to could you just introduce yourself and tell the audience a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes. So I'm Big Sexy. Obviously, that's not my real name, but
it's not.
No. It's not on my birth certificate.
Oh, okay.
But my real name is Michael Collard. I'm originally from WA. My father's from from over there, and my mum's from South Australia. But grew up mostly in South Australia. And from a very young age, I was introduced to the performing arts, getting into drama and, music in school. And that was something it sort of resonated with me. And, from that, I sort of had that bit of a passion for it, developed skills, started singing, put together a hip hop group, No, it was an R&B group to kick.
That's
to
what
start
it was.
Off with. Yeah. So, but ended up getting a few followers from school, a few cousins actually. One that goes by the name of Stinger T. Yep. Who I've always known him, and we've done a lot of music together. And as the Deadly Boys, TDB, that you were a bit of a big part of at one time. And then had a bit of a solo sort of career, performing here and there, doing this and that. Got into broadcasting with Radio Adelaide here in South Australia, which is really good. Presenting shows each week, and I've still got a bit of involvement. So it's been close to 9 years.
Wow.
In casting, so which has been really, really good to be involved in. And but today, I work within mental health, working with Aboriginal communities, and being cultural lead in that sense, and also just last year finished off my diploma in narrative therapy. So that's something.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So that's a little bit about me, and
So, can I just ask, what's your favorite part of all those things you've learned over the years, like when it comes to creative endeavors? Or is there anything that stands out to you, or that you enjoy the most, or look back on and think, that was such a amazing experience.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
I mean, there's so many things I could point out, you know, whether it be actually going through the whole process of, you know, writing songs, doing this, doing that, learning skills how to record a song,
Mm-hmm.
you know, learning skills how to structure a song, you know, how to make music and turn into a song. You know, from doing the music videos, you know, that was a huge one thing I really loved doing, because it was just, you know, being a part of that process of, you know, having the concept and just working through it until the end. Just having that, you know, having what's in our heads come out into
reality.
Into reality. But one thing I love is actually performing.
Yeah.
And that's I feel the most comfortable on stage. Like once I get that first song out of the way, you know,
you're there all night.
I don't want to get up.
Go home.
No.
They're pulling you off the stage.
I'm not leaving. So it's such a great thing to experience, you know. Yeah.
So it's definitely, I know for me creatively, that's why I ended up creating comic books, is obviously I come from a background in film and video production, but as I, you know, sort of got older and you know, had a family and stuff like that, my focuses were, you know, on different things in life, and then I still had that burning desire to be creative, but I didn't know where that would fit in my life, and that's why I went into comic books. But where was I going with that? Do you feel like it's soul fulfilling, like your soul is filled up and, you know, your cup's full in that regard?
It does. Yeah, it just takes me away.
Yeah,
you know, away from all the
stresses of
all the stresses and all the negative things. It just puts me in a good environment.
Yeah,
even just chucking headphones on and listening to some music, it does the same thing. But some of the most fondest times were doing some of the productions with you, and do
you remember that? There's this one moment I always talk about it with my partner Julie. She obviously came on and managed you guys at one point, and do you remember that moment we were out the back of Mount Barker and we were shooting the music clip Rise, and I'd hired all this equipment and we're driving out to the back farm areas of Mount Barker, and we wanted a sunrise shot on someone's land. Like me being me and just the way we did things back then, it was very guerrilla filmmaking. We didn't get permission from anyone.
No,
we just went up to some farmer's land on top of a hill. We shot a bunch of stuff. There were cows. You were literally there were cows watching us. And I'm pretty sure there was a farmer on a tractor sort of plowing his field way off in the distance. Kind of a bit worried that we're going to get busted. But, I don't know. I don't recommend anyone watching this. I don't recommend doing that. Go through the proper channels when you But there's a certain energy, like when you do film certain things like that. It just creates a different element and energy amongst the people that are involved. That was one moment I remember. I remember Stinger jumping the fence. And I wasn't that fit back then, so I had to hobble over it.
Same. I wasn't getting caught with the barbed wire.
No barbed wire. No. But they were good times. I remember flying up to Brisbane, to do concerts. I think Jessica Malboy was at one point. Meeting all different people from life. It's some really. They're probably the most cherished moments, and then obviously we all met, like Stinger and you. We met really randomly. I remember I was talking to Stinger T. I think back then it would have been MySpace. I think.
Oh, okay, I
don't know. And I was some crazy kid from the Riverland, 3 hours out of Adelaide, who was trying to make a zombie film. And I look back and I don't know who that kid was. That kid had some sort of passion and something that I don't think I've got anymore. But me, I'll talk about me. I was, trying to get a bunch of people just to come out to my film and play zombies. And I think we shot it outside of Berry, sort of over the river going towards Loxton on some family friends' farm. And I remember you guys, you and Stinger rocked up. You had, I can't remember if you were already dressed as zombies when you rocked up.
I think we were.
You had all torn, clothes and makeup.
Yeah,
and
I think,
blood and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
And I remember, my first sort of experience with you guys was I was there directing all these scenes and filming stuff, and you guys were sitting in a dry creek bed full of cows.
Yeah, just laying in there.
Laying in there, and like no one moved.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. We were trying to shoot all these action scenes. These characters were going through and slaying zombies, and that was a really hard experience. Because like up until that point, I hadn't dealt with lots of extras and just the logistics of trying to get coverage and trying to do stunts and stuff. Like we didn't have any this is like crazy. We didn't have stunt coordinators or anyone who's trained in any of that. We're just making up as we went, and it was very, very guerrilla style. And a lot of it was everyone get in and just have fun. But that's my first memory of you guys. And I remember, I think I remember you guys doing a bit of a rap, some hip hop for one of the other extras, at one point. But then from that point on, it kind of spawned into this, thing where we were working on short films together, and helping you with your music and making music videos, and getting involved in that, and then learning more about you guys and all your family and friends and stuff, and just becoming a family, really. But it's really, really interesting. I don't. Do you remember? This is going back. I'm going back at memory lane.
Here we go.
There was one music video we shot, and I'm sure we were in Port Adelaide, and we were sitting in the car. I think it was you, me, and Stinger, and maybe Julie. And we're just sitting in the car for ages, waiting for something. I don't know what it was we were waiting for. And we kept playing. Oh, yeah, you probably, I don't know. Anyway. If anyone on the chat,
anyone in the
chat knows, let us know. Anyone? No, okay.
We wait for other people to rock up, I reckon.
Yeah, something.
Because we were usually the punctual ones, I reckon.
Yeah. There was some random moment. I feel like it was raining, and there was like rain on the windows, and it was,
I don't know, waiting for it to stop raining.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun. There was some fun moments.
It was,
but I guess through that, like, where was I heading with this? I guess we get to know how each other works, and each other's strengths and weaknesses and stuff, and then we obviously collaborated and all that sort of thing. But so fast forward, like I'm here making comic books, and like I think this is the comic book I've just launched now is the Gary Gorilla Kickstarter, and that was I think that's my fourth comic book that I've sort of created. And when my very first one was like based around my dad. It was sort of a tribute to my dad, and it was called Angry Squad, which you know about. And back then, I actually wanted you to come on board and create a theme song for it. And for whatever reason, this was pre-COVID and before the world went crazy, and there was a lot of crazy stuff going on then. And it just for whatever reason, we couldn't align and get everything working and stuff like that. It would have been really good to get you there, and I went in a different direction. But I always had you in the back of my mind to keep doing. I was like, I've got to get him involved in this, and I'm glad that I waited, and I'm glad I reached out to you a few months back and I said, "Hey, what are you doing? I know we're both busy. I get that, but I know for a fact you need some sort of creative outlet. I want to give it to you." So and we kind of met up almost each week via Zoom. In the lead up to it, and I filled you in on what I wanted to create. I wanted to create a theme song for the Gary Gorilla, comic book, and Gary Gorilla is a supernatural hunter of supernatural entities. It's kind of like got the charm of the Winchester brothers from Supernatural, the TV show, but it's got this heart of the Ghostbusters. And I'd show you the comic book pages as they were being, you know, drawn and colored, and
Yeah,
every
yeah.
meeting you were
That
like
was
getting
cool,
more
man.
excited about it, like
Yeah, yeah,
really, really excited. I
yeah.
was like, okay, this is cool. And then, you know, we brainstormed some ideas, but
Mm.
and then you came to me with this banger of a track. It's just unbelievable. But could you speak more about that process and where, you know, how you got your inspiration and you know, how that sort of all came to be from your point of view?
Yeah, so the actual beat, I actually created that. It probably wouldn't have been too far after when you first asked me, I reckon. I created that like years ago. And it
Okay.
was something that was just, you know, sitting there, and every now and then I'd sort of revisit and, you know, sort of tweak it every now and then, and but never use it for a beat or anything, like just to write to in it.
Mhm.
But you know, that was one of the beats I sort of picked out and sort of sent to you, and you know, that was the beat that you were like, "Yep, this is the one." So you know, yeah, like you said, we brainstormed that, and you know, some of these, you know, I like using keywords for,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, as you said, you know, the little Easter eggs in the lyrics, and
Yeah.
you know, different things like that come into play. Um, but yeah, just going through that, it was, yeah, I wanted it a bit gritty because I know Gary Gorilla is a bit gritty himself, and you know, sort of,
Mm.
you know, he's not one to shy away from a bit of a tussle.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, and also, you know, give props to the king of rock and roll as well. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's got a bit of influence into the track as well with the
Yeah.
lyrics, and
Yeah.
yeah, just, you know, it sort of all came together pretty well, I think. And
Mm.
yeah, I was like, I sort of recorded you know, the first verse and then the chorus, and I was like, oh, I wonder, I'll see what Lucas reckons of this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you were like, you rang me up straight
Oh man, I
away.
had to ring you up. I was ringing you
Pretty
up
much.
going, oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
bro.
couldn't. What in that process, like, just to give the people watching context, it's like the story of Gary Gorilla, without spoiling too much, is
Hmm.
he's a supernatural hunter. He's on a journey, and he comes through a town, and basically he's stopped. He's got a bigger purpose, but he's obviously stopped along the way, and he's got to deal with a small town that's being overrun by Elvis impersonator zombies, right? As you do.
As you do.
As you do. And he meets a bunch of different characters, and along the way he gets introduced to, like, Elvis rocks up and sort of, you know, forms a reluctant relationship with him to try and figure out why this is happening. And then there's this siren of a woman that sort of comes into it. You don't know whether she's good or evil, whether she's what she's trying to do. Like, knowing that now, like, so that's for the audience, their context, but like for you, what do you write the chorus first, or do you figure out the verse first and then let the chorus come naturally, or is it I don't know, how does that work for you?
Yeah, well, in this case, the verse came first,
Okay.
and that was, yeah, it's a bit strange how it came about.
Yeah.
Like, because I usually do come up with the chorus first,
That's what I thought. Yeah.
and but I had sort of a feeling of going with the verse first.
Mhm.
Not too sure what it was, but yeah, that was something I started, yeah, pretty quickly, and it sort of just flowed out a bit.
Streamline
And
from then, because
yeah, and then
yeah. I
yeah,
love
and then
yeah. Sorry, you go.
no, the chorus, yeah, because it's pretty, it's not fully like full of words, and it's pretty like a
It's yeah.
very, yeah, it's only like maybe just
Well, I like the words because
very,
it's like go Gary, taking care of business. Can I get a witness? Like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, to me that's like it's kind of like a pop, maybe not like a pop song, but it's the perfect
mm,
mix of just
mm,
words that rhyme, but they also invoke a feeling and an energy that goes straight back to the character. It's just I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh wow, go Gary.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you did say, oh, that caught me off guard, but it worked,
It worked, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like the taking care of business part as well. Obviously, he's taking care of business being the supernatural hunter that he is, but also taking care of business is the slogan for Elvis, like TCB. That was sort of his mantra, or is the logo that he lived by, when he was touring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was a nice little, play into that as well.
Yeah.
But, really like But I'm like, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I was bopping around, I had playing in the car and stuff, and it gets me going. It was good because I could edit a video for that, which I've got up on the on my YouTube channel as well, promoting it. And stuff. And some people have commented and like, like this is amazing.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Good. So yeah.
Well, it's been received well. Yeah.
Yes, it has. Cool. Yeah, it's definitely been received very, very well. But how about we let's see if we can play it.
Yeah,
we'll play the song. Let's see if I can figure out how to use this. Share screen. All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna play the Gary Gorilla theme song, "Go Gary, Taking Care of Business" by none other than Big Sexy. So here we go.
Yeah. Double G rolling deep in a 67 Chevy Impala. Boss got a lot of peeling off the curb, but we gotta be heard. Cruising like a big boss firebird. Chilling with the king of rock and roll. We killing these things with no soul. We winning until the black hole, the villain. We bout to lose control. Purple in my eyes got me all blind. Trying to make sense to threat to mankind. Sexy lady, kicking curves, bringing the BS. Got the damn nerve. Zombies coming from left and from right. We're fighting so hard with no end in sight. Just when you thought we might need the Kleenex, out of the ashes we rise like the phoenix. Go Gary, taking care of business like the evil ones. Can I get a witness? Go Gary, taking care of business like the evil ones. Can I get a witness? Go Gary, taking care of business like the evil ones. Can I get a witness? Go Gary, taking care of business like the evil ones. Can I get a witness?
All right, there we go.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, could use a little bit more work. Yeah,
that's cool.
No, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool. I like how it all comes together with the images and stuff. But But there's a funny moment in the song where you're like, something about getting the Kleenex but we're going to rise like a phoenix. My son is Phoenix. And you managed to get him in there.
Yeah, I thought I'd give him a little, put that in there for him, and I'm sure he appreciates it.
Yeah, I did show him, and he didn't really make any note of his name being in there. But anyway, I'll have to show him again. So
yeah.
I don't know if I think he was just like, oh, what is this? But
oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. So everyone that's watching at the moment, on the Kickstarter page, with every pledge that so it doesn't matter if you're getting a digital PDF pack on the Gary Gorilla Kickstarter campaign, or you're getting one of the higher end tiers, that song that Big Sexy has created will be included in all of those tiers. So it's adding value to every comic book, digital comic book that you grab on the campaign. So if you head over to angryfredkickstarter.com/Gary Gorilla 1, you can go over there and check out all the cool rewards that are up for offer.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely. So what is next? So I guess we can talk a little bit about the Kickstarter page and the campaign. I might bring up let's have a look here. I'll bring up here we go.
So on the Kickstarter page, you've got like different tiers, don't you?
We do. That's right.
Yeah.
So you can see that there.
Okay.
Yeah. So just for context, it's a 28-page comic book, 28 pages of Gary Gorilla goodness, where you can join him as a supernatural hunter. He's challenged by a mysterious silent named Kalina as he battles a horde of elvis zombies in a small town. So it is 28 pages. I want to be clear on this. It's 28 pages of comic book, but it's actually going to be a 52-page graphic novel. And I'm going to have some interesting behind the scenes bits of information that show you what is, how I went into creating this this story and comic book, because it was a long road to finding the artist that has created these beautiful images, like Vika Zuban. She's an artist out of the Ukraine, and it took me a while to find someone who could work with and rely on, who was decent enough, and no malice or anything, bad towards the other I think 4 artists that I had worked with prior to this. I couldn't get to they didn't understand my script, or they didn't understand my vision, and it was really hard to communicate with that. And sometimes that's that's a part of the process of creating stuff. Some people are just not going to gel or jive with what you're trying to do. Well, that's okay. Yeah. That's cool. That happens all the time.
Yep.
And I did invest a lot of money into those other 4 artists, and then and I think a lot of it came down to professionalism, and also trying to get someone who had consistency. Like, I'd rather work, I don't know about you, Big Sexy, but I'd rather work with people. Fair enough, you could be astounding at what you do, but if your work ethic and your professionalism isn't up to par, and you're not consistent enough, I'd probably not work with that person. I'd work with someone who is good, but can show up every day, is punctual, and delivers, and is true to their word. Like, I'd rather work with someone like that than have someone like that on my team than someone who's gonna just randomly message me at random times and not really keep me up to date. But that's sort of how I feel about it. But
you kind of want to have that reflected.
Yeah,
you're very much that way too. You're pretty,
I am. Yeah.
Pretty consistent with a lot of stuff,
Yeah. That's I guess that's one of the things. Like, I'm a video editor that's my background, that's my job. I've noticed over the years, video editing, that you could be the best video editor in the world, but if you're working with certain companies, they're on deadlines. They expect things on a certain time. You can go. I always go above and beyond, but I always know that I know that I don't want to burn myself out. I've got to stick to consistency, and that's just how I feel about it. So aside from that, this is the page. You get to learn obviously a lot about who Gary Gorilla is when you're reading about this. He's obviously from the Angry Squad, and so for those of you who are know about the Angry Fred universe, or the Angry Squad universe, Gary Gorilla was a character, or is a character in that universe, and he has a very interesting relationship with Angry Fred and his team. And when I released that book, the first 2 issues, I got a lot of feedback about the Gary Gorilla character and a lot of interest in it, and it sort of got me thinking, I want to take this on a spin-off series. I know it's early on. The Angry Squad universe hasn't even been completed when it comes to the comic books, but I thought, no, I want to take this in an interesting journey and see where it goes. And so that's where Gary Gorilla comes from. Why he's named Gary, don't ask me. I just think it's cool. I kind of like it when people call their dogs, their cute dogs, things like Bruce or Bob or something. It's kind of funny. Like, it's kind of cool. I guess that's where that comes from. But you can learn more about Gary Gorilla at the page. You can see some sample pages right from the book. So this is what will be in the book. It's all lettered and stuff. So all the artwork has been illustrated and colored by Vika Zuban. And the lettering in the book, obviously, is done by Stephen Koch. He's an amazing comic book creator out of Sydney. And obviously this story has been written by me, and I'll get to how this story came about. So you can see a bunch of images here, sort of like a Terminator type-esque scenario where a lady comes through a portal from a different dimension into I guess our world, and then she's we learn a bit about her, and then she reaches into the graves of these buried Elvis impersonators and brings them back to life, as you do.
Yeah,
there's
I really did like what you called the graveyard.
Yeah,
Graveland?
I called it
Yeah.
Graveland. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so those of you who are in Elvis, like most people know the house, the mansion, or whatever that Elvis Presley bought when he was young and lived until he died was called Graceland. So I just sort of took that on as a little nod to that and called it Graveland. So the resting home of Elvis impersonators. As you can see here, there's like a skateboarder kid that's sort of peeking through the gates, and he's recording it live on his social media and so forth. This is actually from a story that I created when I was in my early 20s, but I'll get to that in a minute. So a lot of this story is actually something I did before when I was trying to make a film around it. So, but yeah. Anyway, you get to see the cool looking zombies. If you're into that sort of stuff, this is probably a perfect sort of book for you. And there's Gary cutting up some zombies, taking on the zombies with Elvis and stuff like that. It's really cool artwork. Just really lots of nice colors, and really just in your face sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this is the main cover for the book. You can get this just normally printed, and I just decided the other day to do a foil cover, like one that moves in the light and stuff.
I was going to say that too. That looked amazing.
See that? Amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, I didn't originally was going to do it, and then when I'd launched the campaign, I got the samples through from the printer, and I was like, man, I've got to offer that up. So that is actually included in the thing. There's another cover, cover B, which I got a bunch of guys online. So the guys from Line Art Studios did all the inking and the illustration, and then the guys from Bees Studios did the coloring on that one. So you can get that one. And then this last cover I got illustrated by Adam. Sorry if I butcher your name, man. Kimalek, and it's colored by Richard Rupkick, who I've worked with on Angry Squad 2. He did a lot of coloring on that and a few other projects that I worked on. And this is like an Elvis versus Gary cover, which is really cool. This can be bought in the foil cover as well. That looks really cool too.
Nice.
But I wanted to get to why I'm actually making this book. One of the reasons was back in the early 2000s, I had created a concept, and this is some of the artwork from it, some of the stuff I drew myself. I wanted to create a short clay animation film about a young guy who was modeled off of me, who goes into a cemetery of undead Elvis impersonators called Graveland, as you can see. And he goes in there at night, and he ends up, having to fight these Elvis zombies, and these crazy Elvis-looking jumpsuits and stuff. And I got to the point where I actually designed all these characters in clay, and I actually built sets and so forth. And my mum and dad, who've always been supportive of my creative endeavors, they were there on that journey. You've met my mum and dad, obviously. They were always there supporting stuff, and I got relatively far with this project, but then other things happened, and I didn't continue it. It's been one of these things bugging in the back of my mind. I really wanted to follow through with it, and I didn't know how to go back to it. And when I was thinking of the Gary Gorilla story, this was the perfect thing that I thought, now I can tap into that story that I had back then and bring it back to life. So but do you remember
that idea has come back as like like a zombie?
It has. It's come from it's risen from the dead, hasn't it? So it rise like a phoenix. Don't forget your Kleenex.
That's it.
No, that's funny you say it. It's come full circle. It's sort of risen from, it's really interesting. You would have you went to my family home when we owned it back in Loxton, and you would have seen the shed in the backyard, my dad's shed. Well, a lot of this story was shot in there and created in there. It was quite. I had this scene at the start, and I shot it on Super 8 film, so it wasn't shot on digital or anything like that. And it was a shot that was tracking in over this cemetery on like, you know, the ground, and had a smoke machine coming in. My dad actually built out of chicken wire and wood. He built these paper mache sort of mounds of like, they look like dirt. And I think I got him as it moved in. There was like a gravestone made out of styrofoam. And I'd etched in there "King of the Dead" as the title, and then I'd made all these different layers of cutout silhouettes at the back, and I'd lit it in a certain way so the moon was coming through, and there was like smoke, you know, bellowing out. And then my dad, I think I got my dad at some point to punch his hand through out through the ground, like in this paper mache thing. And my mum had made, you know, the sleeve of an Elvis costume with all the sequins and beads and stuff.
Yeah.
And like my dad put rings on his hands and you know, scarred it up and stuff like that. And, you know, came through, and it looked really cool. Like it looked really awesome. But yeah, it didn't really get too far on. But yeah, anyway, that was so I'm glad I'm here redoing it. But so you know, you get to learn a bit more about you know, the people involved, and so some of the rewards people can get, you can just, if you're not into, you know, physical printed books, you can just pay $10 and you can get a digital PDF pack. It's going to include the big sexy theme song. It's going to include the Gary Gorilla book. But on top of that, I've got like a PDF pack of other independent comic books that I've put together, and it's almost over 200 pages of comic books just within that pack. So for $10, I think that's a pretty good deal. If that was me, I'd be going out and buying that for sure.
I reckon I've got 2 of those.
You do? Yeah, you probably do, man. Yeah.
I remember I got you to sign them too.
Yeah. I remember that last time we met. Signed the comic books. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then, you know, there's obviously the man, the myth. This goes into the song. There he is. I remember that. I remember taking this photo. I did the photo shoot.
Yeah, that's one of your photos. Yeah,
it's good times.
That's cool. That was down near the Woolsheds, wasn't it?
Woolsheds in Port Adelaide. Yeah. That's so famous for people that have. I think they went and made the Mortal Kombat movie along there in.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have you watched the they shot it in Adelaide, and they opened up one of the areas in the Woolshed, and they shot like a fight scene. I think it was a cage fight scene in there.
Oh, okay.
Even the street that we shot this on, there's a car. I think there's a car chase that goes on in there as well.
Oh, okay.
One of my cousins actually lives in Adelaide. He was in he was playing an extra in one of the fight scene, cage fight scene there. Yeah. So so there's that. But so, you know, people can get themselves you know, a printed book, which is going to come with all the digital rewards, and it's going to come with a cool trading card as well. I've got these really cool trading cards I'm going to get printed up. A big sexy, and, you know, one of the main characters on there. So yeah, you know, you can get stuff like that, or if you want, you can get cover B for the same sort of price. And then there's the variant cover, goes up. We added extra things like the A5 print, you know, foil covers, 2 different foil covers that you can grab. And then if you really want to immerse yourself in the Gary Gorilla, you know, universe, and dress up and all that sort of thing, you know, we've got t-shirts, a t-shirt pack. You can get all the covers if you like. And this is the cool rewards that I like. You can get yourself drawn into the book if you're interested in that. Cool. So if you pay this price, you're going to get all the covers, all the digital stuff, the trading cards, the prints, the big sexy song. But after the campaign ends, I'll contact you and we'll work out a way to feature your likeness into the book. And you can either be an Elvis zombie in the book, or if you want to be a zombie victim, you want to get
that's cool.
You can do that as well. So there's that.
That's cool, man.
I've actually had one person reach out, and they're really keen on seeing themselves.
Getting ripped.
Getting ripped. So
well, that's cool.
So there's that. These sort of tiers have been done really well in my past campaign. It was really quite fun to see people get involved in that. And then I've got a real big merch up tier reward where you can get yourself a bucket hat, t-shirt, and everything else in that. And then if you're really hardcore, you can design your own cover. Obviously, after the campaign, you can sit down with me if you get this one, and you can design whatever cover you want, really. Sky's the limit in that respect. So don't be fooled when you're seeing this price and you're like, oh, I'm just going to get a white cover with nothing on it. No, it's not. You'll get something what you want on it. Like, and then
That's cool.
And then for the diehard fans out there of that follow me and stuff, I always give like a really nice limited edition print that will be signed by me, and it will come in this nice black bordered frame. Like this is a 16 by 14 inch frame print. It's got a bevel cut border, solid satin frame and stuff. So and it's going to be really glossy and it like sit really nice on your your wall and stuff. But included in that, you're going to get everything else, like the whole kit and caboodle that you see from all these different tiers. So and then you can add on stuff if you just want to grab a book, you want to grab an extra book, or you want to get some more t-shirts, and you can play with this. I've sold a few of these already. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Killer.
So that's that. You got any questions for me?
Oh man,
Biggie?
That looks pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Didn't realize you had get into the get drawn into the
book.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of the indie creators do. It's just I think it's a good way to bespoke the person buying it. Like they feel a part of the book and stuff, and like it's quite funny because the last Kickstarter I did, there was people that did that, and I know a lot of them, and I was like looking for the book. I was like, oh, there's so and so and stuff. So it's quite fun. It's quite a good novelty.
I was thinking too, like, could you get drawn as a zombie victim and have that as your cover?
Well, yeah, if you do, if you do this one, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's cool.
Most definitely. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
I'm getting started. Yeah.
Getting started?
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, you can go to angryfredkickstarter.com/Gary Gorilla 1 and grab yourself a reward if you want.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Because at the moment, where are we at the moment with the campaign? Okay, so I'm about 44% funded. We've got 42 backers, and we've got about 26 days to go. So there's plenty of time to jump on board and grab a reward. So yeah, we've actually got a question here that I just sort of pop up. Let's I wonder if you can answer this one now. I'll probably answer myself. Okay, this is an interesting one from Nimbo TM. So new to Gary. So is it why the 67 Impala instead of the 68 SS Coupe, which is far cooler? Ooh, I think they're both cool cars, aren't they? But the 67 Chevy Impala is just a little nod to the Supernatural TV show. So in the show, the Winchester brothers. Have you watched the show?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So within that show, they drive a 67 Chevy Impala, which they call Baby. And for diehard fans of the show, obviously that has been just a staple. That car's always been for the show. And I think from memory, once, I don't know how many seasons that show went for. It seems like it went for 100 seasons or something. Something stupid. Like it went for so many years. I remember in high school, I'm sure I was in high school and that was on, I don't know.
How long ago was that?
But it's something like that. But it was like, what, 14? I don't know how many seasons. It was something crazy. But I think the two actors got given one of those cars each to keep from the show.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's having the 67 Impala in there is just a little nod to the Supernatural TV show, and obviously they were supernatural hunters, and Gary Gorilla is a supernatural hunter, so that's why I've got that in there. And so the Winchester brothers called their car Baby, and then in my comic book, Gary calls his car Bubba. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit. little bit of a sneaky nod to
Yeah,
all that. So
yeah.
thank you for the. I don't know. Do you know anything about these cars? Like a 68 SS Coupe. Let's have a look. Let's see.
Remember, I used to see an Impala up in the Riverland. A white
Oh,
one.
do you? The white one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Pete the barber? Does he know that?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shot. It's fun. I got a funny story about that actually. So Pete the barber, he basically cuts everyone's hair, and well, his dad, it was Tony the barber. He used to cut my dad's hair, over in Barrie. And then Pete, obviously opened a shop up in Loxton. I remember him cutting my hair when I was young. Really, short back and sides, that sort of style. But I think he owns one of them, those cars.
Yeah.
And I was doing a photo shoot for a fundraiser, for a girl down there, and it was a calendar, and we're getting all different local, I guess, celebrities from around the town to do certain things. And Pete decided I think we got the girl on the front of the camera, and then Pete was going to go in the background and do a burnout in the car. And we had this, we got this really cool shot with this. Actually, what ended up happening was he started doing the burnout, and I was taking photos. I took photos of the girl separate and photos of the car separate, and I was going to mesh them together.
Oh,
and I think the first photo I took of Pete doing the burnout, the car just went bang.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he blew a gasket or something went wrong with the car. And so
no.
I think he had to get it towed from there where we were, but
oh wow,
yeah, so that was a really expensive car. But
because I remember I used to hear it coming. Just going, I was like, that's that Impala.
Yeah,
it's
a cool car.
Yeah, nice car.
I'm assuming it's still around. I'd say so. Yeah,
still doing burnouts down Main Street.
No, they don't change. Do you go back to the Riverland now and then, or like do you?
Yeah, every now and then. Yeah. Go see some family up there and spend some time. I
remember seeing your mum once. I was there once. I was over in Barry's doing some shopping one day, and I saw her there. I was like, that's not bad. That's cool.
Yeah, remember that time I stopped in at the shopping centre in Barrie.
That's right. I was getting
all of a sudden you were there.
I was there.
I was like, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a long time, and then
it's funny because I was getting my eyes checked. I was getting new glasses. Yeah. And I walked out of the optometrist, and I was like, I was giving you a hug and stuff, and like the optometrist was like, "What are you doing? Get your eyes checked. You can't see. Get your glasses on." That was funny.
Yeah, Riverland. It's like that, eh? Like
it is. You bump into lots of people that and you end up. I think I remember last time I went up there, I walked up the main street, and I couldn't get out of the main street because of just talking to so many different people.
Yeah, you just get stuck.
Yeah, you just sort of like got to duck down an alleyway and run away. So what gets you like what are you working on next? What's some things that you can tell us about?
As I mentioned before about the Deadly Boys, TDB, we've recently got
come back together.
We've released
how long was it when you guys sort of went your separate ways? Like how long ago was that?
Was that 2008?
Wow.
9, around there, I think.
Really?
Yeah. We sort of went and did our sort of solo endeavours. Yeah.
But, so that would have been around the time I released the Counterpart movie, the movie that I met you two guys on.
And I'm looking at it right now.
You're looking at it?
Yeah.
You're not playing it?
I got the DVD there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to show you something really funny. Check this out. Keep talking about your
TV. so yeah, we recently got back together at the end of last year and released our first single from the island, which is
Yeah, that's a
a
beautiful song. I love that
real
song. Yeah.
real new sound for us, and we've got to start getting work done on the rest of the album. So yeah, that's something we're gonna be moving towards, and I've just been thinking I really want to start a bit of a podcast myself.
Beautiful.
It's going to be everything and anything, what's the, I kind of do want to theme it around sort of men's issues.
Yes. Yeah.
Around, what do we do around like self-care, that type of stuff, because so many men in the community are just struggling most days, and it'd be really good to or even try and figure out how do we tap into our creative side again, that type of stuff,
Well, let me know about that, man. I'd be really interested
in definitely
come on board.
I
guess I've been going on my own sort of journey for like maybe the last year and a half, like trying to struggle, well, not struggle, but like delving into that sort of side of things as well. So for sure.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a platform we can chat about that, and
for sure. Yeah,
share with everyone.
Yeah. So coming back to TDB, so you're creating an album. How many songs are we talking about? What sort of style? Like, I know I've listened to. It's funny the other day. Like, I was where were we? We were driving back up from New South Wales into Queensland because we got a caravan and stuff. And I put on TDB.
Yep.
And Julie was like, "Yep, let's listen to this. This is cool." And we'll listen to all your songs and stuff, and I'm like, right from Unleash the Noongas to all through the stuff that we worked with you on and stuff. And like your style's obviously changed to very street and struggle, and then trying to make it and all that sort of thing. But then like, you come now that I'm here from the island. When I heard that, I was like, oh wow, that's like really like a cool reggae beat. Very very different to what you guys have done in the past. Where does this album, what's going to be on there? As a style change, or are you going to like dip back into what you were, or where you're going?
I think a lot of that, because I feel like myself from when I was from Unleash the Noongas to Rise to now, like I'm a bit more wiser, a bit older, a bit bolder, and depending on how me and Stinger T collaborate, how we gel on tracks, it's hard to say what something's going to be. But then we do like our dipping sort of back into the sort of the hard stuff, but then we like the the softer touch as well, but like just going from that first single that we released, I think our album's going to sound a bit more a bit different from our last two. It's a very reggae sort of sung style. I think I'll probably do a lot of singing in this album, but also have a bit of my rapping and hip hop side come through. So we've got a few. I think we've got about 10 to 12 tracks we're going to be doing. So decent little record.
It's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
And no doubt we'll need a few music videos for it. So
I don't know anyone. No. Yeah, no.
creative opportunities for for that type of stuff. So
yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I'd be definitely keen to help you guys out and jump on like old times, really.
Yeah. Get
Right.
Julie to manage again. No.
Oh man, maybe like old times. It's funny looking back. When we did all that, it was very different.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like things were easy. Me, what?
How about you with your future endeavors, and apart from Angry Fred Comics and Gary Gorilla?
Yeah, it's interesting to say that, man. There's a lot of comic book stories that I'm working on. Like one I'm working on, I'd like to work a little bit more on, and I'm trying to develop. Of early stages of development is a story. It's kind of based around a bunch of Australian bushrangers. So taking, say, the likes of Ned Kelly, Ben Hole, Captain Thunderbolt, and Mad Dog Morgan. And so looking at the history of those guys, but throwing them into their normal universe, their worlds, but then adding in sort of like a alien element to it, where they are all contacted by a certain UFO or an entity of some sort from outer space, and then through that they're connected together, and they have to team up reluctantly together, and they have to get to know each other and work with as a team to be taken into the future to battle a war that no one is just out of this world. So it's like got mech warriors and Vikings and that sort of thing. That's the story I'm actually working on at the moment.
Yeah,
it's getting a lot of interest. It's just trying to write it in a way where, like, I'm really particular. I want to add in historical elements of all the characters.
Yeah.
And so show them in their environments, but then when they meet, they have to interact with each other as if they are themselves, and they maybe know a little bit about each other, but make it in a way that is believable and not too corny. Yeah. But then take it on this weird journey where it's like it goes above and beyond what is fathomable for those type of people. So so because bushrangers is something that's really interested me as a kid growing up, and in our travels around Australia, we've been to a lot of we went to the cave that Captain Thunderbolt hung out in. We've been past where Ben Hall was buried. There's all different parts of Australia we visited. It seems a very prevalent thing, and I also want to this is something you could probably help me out with, is talk about the Indigenous culture in that as well. As a little, as a sort of how that fits into it too. But that's this epic saga that I've got that I'm writing. And there's another story that sort of came to me as well. It's for a film. It's not for a comic. I had this story since I was in my early 20s, I think. And it sort of like explores the car culture of Australia. So actually we've got some. Here we go. This is Julie.
Hey,
Julie.
Killer. Thanks, Joe.
That's cool. It says thank you. So, it's cool. But that's what I'm really what I'm working on. There's nothing much else that and like the film thing as well. Like this, I've got a yearning to go back to the zombie film. I don't know what that is like, but some sort of zombie film. I want to redeem myself because this is something I wanted to show you. So the film The Counterpart that you were where are we? That you were involved in.
Yes.
So I don't think I've got a copy. You've got a copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
got all stuff in storage. So I don't know where half the stuff is, but you can't buy it anywhere. Well, that's what I thought until the other day. And then I was on. Where was I? I was on the internet, and can you see this? So.
Oh yes, here we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can buy the film used for like $33.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it look at here. It says rare. It's got rare at the end.
Ooh, it is rare.
It's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
isn't it? Wild. Yeah.
Imagine having to buy your own DVD.
The film that you've made.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's quite funny. And there's other ones as well. Look at this.
wow.
Pre-owned. And this one got me thinking as well.
wow.
You see this one. This was in the horror section. It must have been out for rent or something.
Oh,
How crazy is that?
did you get distribution for that?
I did, yeah. So
Yeah.
I got distribution in Australia and New Zealand, but I never saw it. I think there was one shop it was available in. Maybe a Big W at one point, but I never saw it being rented or anything. But apparently it was.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a part of your journey right there. Yeah.
You've got a copy? Have you busted it out late?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't busted it out, but I think I need to.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have because I've got the counterpart and
the Summit.
the Summit as well. So I might have to give those two a look. Yeah.
I know Stinger T loved the Summit. He absolutely loved the Summit.
Yeah.
He just kept going on and on about it.
Yeah. And you were you played the
that's right, the creepy
hotel. Yeah.
The creepy Norman Bates style guy.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
own the hotel.
Yeah.
So to give the audience a bit of backstory on that, like one of the short films we made with Big Sexy and Stinger T was a story that myself and Julie sort of wrote together and produced and stuff, and it's called The Summit. It was about two hip hop artists that go on a weekend somewhere with their girlfriends, and they end up staying in some haunted place, and I'm there as the guy that checks them in, and Julie ends up playing this ghost that's haunting them, the main character who's pregnant, I think, or something. I can't remember. Yeah,
she ends up pregnant.
Yeah.
Finds
Then,
out. Yeah.
You find Nick Buckland and was there playing the priest, and I think his wife was there playing. It was that was an interesting time shooting that. So, long hours, and it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Got to do some interesting stuff.
Yeah. Remember the coffee cup too?
Yeah,
You always used to bring that up.
There's a scene in there's a breakfast scene in the film, and I've just served breakfast to the people like you guys. And everyone's eating their breakfast, but Big Sexy's sitting there. He's not saying anything, but he's got his coffee, and he's got his coffee cup, and he's drinking it. But there's no coffee. There's nothing. There's no liquid in the cup. But he made it look so convincing. He could have swore there was something in the cup. That's going to be the best performance out of it.
And the Oscar goes to coffee drinking.
But that was that seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Here's a question. We've got another question through from Nimble TM. So, what's the possibility of a full Gary Gorilla concept album? What do you think, Big Sexy?
Ooh. Well, you could break it down, couldn't you?
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be like 4 issues, so you could. There could be a song to every issue. You got 4 songs there.
Yeah.
Could definitely break it down. Could accompany. I like the whole idea of like reading a book and then accompanying it with a song. Like you get the energy and the what's going on. Immerse yourself in that. Environment.
Yeah, I definitely would go with different feels for each track.
Yeah, you could explore different things and genres. Sure.
Well, you never know. You never know. Oh, that'll be a very interesting thing to think about.
Definitely. And there's another question from Nimble TM. So what other inspirations can we see in Gary other than Supernatural, which would probably still be on if they had a 68 Pilot SS coupe instead of a 67. Okay. To be honest, outside of Supernatural, aside from the car, a lot of the inspirations, I guess, the tone, it's action adventure comedy, and a lot of the comedy plays into the whole buddy cop comedy of, like, you know, the 80s and 90s. So like your Lethal Weapons, your Die Hards, 48 Hours, that sort of thing. So even maybe Bad Boys to an extent. So that it sort of harnesses into that. And then, you know, I'm a big fan of the A-Team, and especially Mr. T. Just sort of, you know, the heroics and just the way he, as an individual, presented himself, or just his look, his physicality as well. Like a lot of Gary Gorilla's physicality with the mohawk and just the way he's built is very much inspired by Mr. T. So you know, those ensemble action sort of movies are something I've always, or shows, sorry, are something I've always, you know, grown up with, and you know, I just love that, you know, the energy and the adventure of those, and that sort of, I guess, has played a bit of inspiration into, you know, how this has come about as well. So yeah, I'm about escapism, but also having a little bit of heart and soul to stories. So yeah. Yeah, man, the questions are coming in.
Yeah, far out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had like when we first sort of had a chat about the track, you know, my mind went straight to, because I remember Gary Gorilla being massive, like King Kong.
Yeah,
and then my mind went to King Kong in the first instance, and yeah, I was sort of thinking on that. You know, I think in one of the King Kong movies, they had the heartbeat.
Yes,
I mean, and that was going to be, that was something I was thinking about doing, with the heartbeat being the beat of the actual track. And then there was that really obscure track I showed you. It was like a German band called Wolfband. Or something. Called Nine. Yeah. And that was that's a cool track, man. Like
it was. It had a bit of rock in it. It had a bit of rock in it. Is that right?
Yeah. And we'll, and you know, you actually mentioned about, you know, having that, you know, that, you know, King of Rock and Roll, you know, have at least something in there. That was one of our very first chats about.
Right, yeah. It's interesting how it sort of started with that, and then it sort of like naturally progressed to what it is now. It's interesting to see the journey.
Because then I think after that you showed me the drawing without color at first, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then you showed me the color, and I was like, oh yeah, nice.
That was a good good progression.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, man. So we're pretty much over the hour with our chat. We might open up for any more questions. Has anyone's got any questions to ask? If not, we'll end it up maybe in the next 5 minutes or so. But was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Big Sexy?
No, not off the top of my head, but you know, this is you know, your baby. You're doing what you love, and that's always something good to invest in. You know, something that can fulfill you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I guess I suppose to make it clear to everyone, my main aim, you know, for the book, you know, I've invested a lot of my own money in to get the book created and so forth. But sort of, you know, holding the Kickstarter is obviously to get it recognized by the audience, and is also to get some funds to basically print the book, get all this, you know, merchandise and, you know, the books out to people, and then if there's money left over, I'll put it to the next book to create the next one. And then having those printed books there, like, obviously, you know, I fulfill the orders of the Kickstarter campaign, but then from there, I'm doing like a little bit of a Queensland regional tour of comic book conventions in the next few months, and so I'm going to take the book with me and sell it to people, on the street, basically. So yeah, to get the word out. So that's yeah. Actually, we do have a question here. Nimble TM. Next natural step seems a short Gary video, maybe. I'm guessing you're meaning like a short film of some sort, maybe, of Gary. I've always toyed with the idea of, creating animations out of my, comic books, being a filmmaker by background. It just seems to be the logical next step to do that. Doing that, I don't know, it's a massive undertaking. It's one of those things where I have to really look at the story and sort of understand what can be done, what can't be done, and sort of use those limits to create something. But yeah, I remember back in the day when we were working with you and Stinger T, Big Sexy. There was a track. I can't remember what the track was that you guys recorded. There was a hip hop artist. He lives up north in Queensland. And he recorded his stuff elsewhere, and you guys sent it to, I think, Luke Vickery at the studios. They mixed it in. Was it Down Like a Gunshot? Pop, pop, pop. What's that song?
Oh, that's Pop, Pop, Pop. Yeah.
Pop, pop. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I always, in the back of my head, envisions that as like an animation.
Okay. Yeah.
Where you guys were rocking up on army jeeps, and there was helicopters, and you were going over mountains and stuff.
Oh yeah. I think I remember you talking about that before. Yeah. That's right.
That sort of sparked my curiosity in the animation side of things. But I'd have to team up with a bunch of people and get yourself on board and work something out. But yeah, I don't know. I guess a short Gary video for sure. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Great questions.
Yeah. All right.
Does anyone else want to ask anything? Yeah.
So just one more from me. So you're just gonna like stick with the like the comic books, or are you looking to go in a different direction, like maybe into like animation?
Yeah, I don't know if I've got like a future plan of like, I definitely want to just keep telling stories in some capacity or some form, and I think comic books right at this moment in time is the most logical, step for me. But my main aim would be to flesh out my Angry Squad series, get that completed, complete the Gary Gorilla series, and then focus on that Bushranger epic. That would be an epic 100 to 150 page graphic novel, something ridiculous, really like insane. And then there is a grittier Angry Fred solo series that I want to work on, that I've already started working on. I've got a few pages done on that, but that's like taking the Angry Fred character and just looking at him on his own in a very dark, grittier sort of scenario where he plays a hitman who's forgetting, like losing his mind. He's got dementia. So that's sort of playing to that. So there's a bunch of stuff there already that can be worked on that I've got plenty of time to do. But animation wise, I don't know. Like it could depends on what presents itself. But
how about would you ever go into the like the audio books for you? Like
that's interesting. Comics? Yeah, that's interesting. That came up the other day in a conversation I was having with someone. Like I would like to explore the whole radio play type thing, where I've seen a few comic creators do that on the indie scene, and they create like a show where it sounds like it's like they get voice actors to do all the voices, and they come in and they release a show, and it's like, on this episode of blah blah blah, and like it's sort of like that old 1930s talkie
Yeah.
type thing, like radio show.
Yeah.
I'd like to explore that. It'd be kind of cool, but I'd probably spend a lot of time trying to figure out the voice of like Angry Fred, you know,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
that would sound, and like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that would open up a whole new world, and it's
Yeah.
put a little bit more icing on the cake, so to speak.
Mm.
You could be involved in that. You could lend a voice to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be happy for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's yeah. So what about yourself? What's next for you?
So I think after we do the TDB album, I'll be stepping in and doing a solo album again.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of the major things I want to do.
Yeah.
Definitely need some music videos too.
Yeah.
But yeah, same with the podcast I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Still sort of involved with radio.
Yeah.
But I just want to step into some creative projects and
I know Stinger T is very heavily involved in the filmmaking world, and he's also acting and so forth. He's probably the, you know, out of us three, he's the only one that sort of kept going with that.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of going in that direction, or is that something that interests you? Or
possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, I always enjoyed being on set and acting and, you know, learning my lines and stuff like that. You know, it was fun, you know. And I really did enjoy it. So I wouldn't say no.
Yeah.
No to it. So, you know, it might be a nice little, well, I know someone, you know, a couple of people, you know.
friends.
Yeah. So that, I wouldn't say no. And
have you thought about stage acting? Like,
I was actually wasn't too bad at it.
Yeah, I did it in high school.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was in.
So different, isn't it?
It is. It's funny. I haven't experienced anything like it since probably way back when. But I was in Canberra a few months ago, and I took my son Phoenix to a show at one of the theaters. That was like Dogman the musical, and it's like based on these kids' books, and they created a musical out of it. But it's just going to watch that. I was like, oh wow, I've forgotten how pure and how just fresh and organic and just real theater is, and like that show we would have watched is never going to be like the show they did the other day or the day after or whatever. You know, it's unique because there's in a certain way you can deliver a line. Certain things might happen where they might stuff up a line, but no one knows, and they correct it. You know, it's just every step they take on the stage is not like any other performance. It's like that's something special about that.
Yeah. Like
really.
each performance is unique.
Yes. Yeah.
And I kind of think, you know, that would be really interesting to get into, especially like a musical.
Yeah.
That way, you know, I involve my love of singing
into
the acting aspect as well.
Yeah.
You know,
that would be something to think about. I'd be interested in exploring that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sing or anything, but you could do that.
Or you could do, you know, you can come in as Elvis or something.
Gary,
you know?
Gary Gorilla the musical. I was
That's so funny.
I was looking up gorilla suits the other day.
Oh really?
Yeah. Don't ask me why, but I was like, but then, you know, you could dress up in that. You could have him in a car driving along. Zombies chasing after him. You get out there and you're singing. Like, it could work.
It could. You know, can be done.
It can be done.
Well, hey, we might be doing the songs for each.
Looks like we are.
Well,
We're making an album.
There you go.
We can have the
you turn it into a musical.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You just never know. You come up with these ideas. And it'll explode after that.
Yeah. Well, you know, if I win the lottery one day, let's do
Okay, I'll hold you to
it. Yeah.
You better not, like, you
Yeah.
know,
No,
you
we
better
got
not disappear to Mexico or anything like that.
Just find me in the real land.
That's true. Best place to be.
Mm.
All right, Big Sexy. Well, thank you so much
Mm.
for joining me tonight. Taking the time out
No
to talk
problem.
about music, future endeavours, and obviously this the great song that you've created for the Kickstarter campaign, and obviously talking about the book itself. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any last words that you'd like to leave everyone with? Or
No, just thank you, brother Lucas, for having me on and having a chat for the last hour and 20 minutes. You know, it's been really, really good. You know, I think when we do sort of catch up and have a chat about creative projects, it's just sort of makes you realize how important they are.
Oh, yeah.
And this is your baby, as I said before, and here to support you in any which way I can.
Yeah.
But before I leave, I always say much love, peace, and happiness, and please take care of yourselves and each other. Yeah, man.
That's good. That's a good way to end it. So thank you so much. Just shameless plug at the end. If you're interested in going into the Kickstarter, go to Angry Fred, kickstarter.com/Gary Gorilla 1. My hand's gone the right way. Yeah. Definitely get on there and donate if you wish. Pick yourself a reward and
check it all out.
Yes, for sure. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. See you next time.